Good morning, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk to you about, or review at least, planting trees in your backyard. Today I got a tree to plant, and it's been kind of sitting in the pot for a while. So my goal today, and there it is behind me, my goal today is to put it into the ground so that it will continue to grow in a healthy fashion. This tree was a tree that my son decided to grow from just a twig that he popped off a willow tree, and ta-da, 3 years later it's actually a tree that can go into the ground. So first of all, what you need to do is prepare the site. You need some soil to go in the ground behind the tree, and be willing to put in some sweat equity. Anyway, I'll get back to you and I'll talk to you more about the process. Alright guys, the first thing you want to do is you want to take whatever tree, shrub, or plant that you're trying to pot, and you want to put it in the center of the place where you're going to pot it. And then you want to take a shovel and you want to go around it, and you want to probably double the area of where you have placed the pot. Now the reason you do this is most people who are trying to plant trees and shrubs, they err on the side of digging really deep holes, but they don't dig holes that are wide enough. And the problem with not digging holes wide enough is that actually, and depending on where you live, your roots for your tree and your shrubs don't actually need to go deep to find water, but they do need to be able to go wide to form a firm foundation. So I would say the first thing you need to do is make a hole twice the size of the pot of the plant that you're trying to put in the ground. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the video and I'm going to take out the center portion, and then I'll talk about the hole depth after that. All right, now I dug out the center of the hole. As you can see, I have a hole now that is the width that I want. Now I got to get it to depth that I want. Now to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to take your shrub or pot that you had in there, that you're putting in the hole, but it was on top, and you're going to put that in the center. And then what you want to do is you want to dig a hole as deep as the pot, and you got the width that you want. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my pot in there, and I'm going to figure out just how deep I need to go, because the pot lip should be even or slightly below the depth of the ground. And I'll tell you why you need to do that later. Hey YouTube family, one step I forgot to tell you, which is very important if you're working in your yard. Make sure you throw down a sheet or a blanket or a tarp to throw the soil on, because if you don't, the problem that you're going to encounter, you're going to have all this extra soil in your grass that is unbelievably hard to get out. I mean, like, you won't get it out. It'll have to rain for several weeks for you to get it out. So make sure you remember to get a tarp, a blanket, a sheet, or something that you're going to throw all your soil on, because what we're going to do is we're going to use some of that soil to put back in the ground. We're going to use that potting soil, or not potting soil, but planting soil for trees and shrubs. We're going to put that in the ground, then we're going to mulch it. But you want some of that soil because it has earthworms in it, a whole bunch of good kind of local nutrients that'll help your tree or shrub grow. Anyway, let's get back to it. Now look, I got the soil out. I got my pot in. It's a little bit too deep, but that's okay. You can backfill a little bit, but you don't want to backfill with the soil that you just pulled out, because depending on where you live, it can be kind of lumpy and hard, which means it's going to be hard for the roots to penetrate. So we're going to backfill with some of this Miracle-Gro garden soil for trees and shrubs. And that actually has moisture control, so if you're in an area where it doesn't rain a lot, you can water your trees probably like, every other day. Where I live, there's a lot of rain, so probably every third day we'll come out and water the tree. And if you live in a really dry area, you're going to have to water it every day. But we're going to get back to it, try to get this thing in the ground. All right, once you got the hole leveled out the way you want it, and you put some of the new soil in with a mix of the old soil, you want to make sure you wet the bottom, right? It's not that you won't be able to water it enough with your hose after you get the plant in, but when soil, because of air pockets and things like that, once it gets wet, it compresses a little bit, so you want it to be fully compressed so that you can set your tree at the right height. So I am going to now place the tree in, and then we're going to start backfilling with soil. All right, the tree's in the ground. I put the soil in, I backfill some of the old soil. So I use 2 bags of shrubbery and tree soil, and then I backfill with the soil I pulled out of the ground. The rest of the soil I just discarded to the side. And then I mulched it. The reason you want to mulch your tree once you finish is the mulch helps to hold in the moisture. The whole process took about, I guess with stopping and stuff like that, it took me about 25 minutes. It's a small tree, but it's in the ground now, and so I'm hoping that it will thrive in this area. Again, this is a willow. I probably need to straighten it a little bit, and I'll do that with some sticks. But this is where we are. Reviewing tree planting, it's not that difficult. It's something that anybody can do. I just happened to have a day off, so I figured I'd come out here and pop one in the ground. But hit me at the bottom with comments and questions if you have any questions about the process, what I use, what type of tools you need it. But it's fairly easy. This is your boy GB Reviews. Hit me down below. I'm out.